I've done a few things with the old Buster 400 Volvo Buster 400 this summer. I had a small leak around the hydraulic servo cylinder for the steering. Cleaned things up, powdered it, turned a little back and forth. Could see a little bit of a leak and just tightened up the bolt, and I think that solved it. It's mainly been used to power the sawmill this summer. It's not been used a whole lot, but I still try to reduce the number of leaks I have on the machines. The back end, the mounting point for it is kind of loose. I thought something had come undone or so on, but I think it's worn. I think the plate that came with the kit is was too mild steel and a conical hole or something. That's something I need to look at. And then it refused to start almost for a while. And if you followed my previous videos, I think I covered bringing the starter out and replacing that Bendix sprocket that was kind of stiff. Um, that might not be the all of it, and I might need to bring the entire starter out because now we replaced the solenoid that seemed to be completely shorted out, and it still acts up and does not start. I need to bring the entire starter out and see what the collector and contact points inside the starter looks like, if they need to be replaced also. Luckily the solenoid you could get access to without pulling the entire starter out, because that was very tight and it's a bit of a heavy lump. So the solenoid came out, not too much trouble, and it wasn't that expensive to replace. We did a little bench test to see if we could get it activated. We wonder if the wiring was too weak to get it activated, but it seems to be shorted out. We did bring out beefier wires to see what happened, and no, there seemed to be a short in there, so and it didn't, it barely pulls it a tiny bit, and it should be like a rifle shot bang, and as it pulls it back hard. Did replace the bolts with Allen heads rather than just a slotted screw, just for ease of turning it, even if I go away from the originality a tiny bit, but it's also a new shiny part here. So with that installed, it fired up nicely, but as I said, it have had issues since then. Did look over it a little bit before parking it for the winter. This little transfer case gearbox holds a couple of liters of oil, and earlier when all the fluids were replaced, this was quite ugly, the oil in here, and since it's just a couple of liters I decided to make sure to change it a couple of extra times now, even if it hasn't seen a whole lot of use, and it starts to clear up and look a lot better. But I will probably replace this again next summer, even if it's just since a few hours of use, because like 2 liters of oil, what's that? That steering rack thing also seems to be leaking a tiny bit, and it holds so little oil that any small leak, I did replace some seals on it earlier, but it seems to be leaking at some more point. I think it could be hydraulic oil also. Was a little low on engine oil, that was topped off. There's a steering servo system, that's a separate hydraulic system, was also a little low because of it had leaked a little bit. That little transfer gearbox, I just filled it through that side plug with the syringe. That's actually the level plug, and I think you're supposed to fill it through the filter at the top. Hydraulic oil was a little low also, so a liter of that was added. So time to park it. Where we plan to park it this year, we need to remove the loader at the front to have room for where it will be winter parked this time around. So it's built to be removed with that support, and there are quick couplings. So, and hooked up the log carrier behind it and turn it around, and it sits in there in front of it. So it's winter parked. Hope it comes back out and plays nice next summer.